everyone, and welcome to another chapter of This Is My Story. On here, my aim is to be real and relatable as we see just how the Bible reflects our story in its chapters, and to encourage you that with God's help, you can start your story on a new page with a firm belief that God is with you and that He is in control. Today's reading is Tamar's story. So, with that being said, let's get real, relatable. Who is Tamar? Tamar is a stepdaughter of King David who got sexually assaulted by her stepbrother. You will find her story in 2 Samuel 13. However, for today's chapter, our focus will be on verses 11 and 12, for this is the start of her story and maybe yours as well. It reads, "And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly." Before I go any further, I must say to you that this may be triggering to some of you. And it is at this point I'll advise you to take a deep breath and think as to whether you're willing to go on this healing journey now with God. While you're doing so, let me remind you though of this verse that says, "Remember, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick." Please trust that God is with you before you click off. Let's set the scene based on what happened. Here you are bargaining with someone, so you wouldn't have to experience this unjust moment, this trauma as Tamar did when Amnon was ordering her into his bed. With no one to the rescue and knowing he was stronger than she was, his mind was made up that he wanted what he desired. So he took what was not given to him. She kept begging, but he would not listen. How you wish your voice was heard. You're pleading, you're begging. Tamar even told him of the shame that would befall her. Didn't trigger his conscience one bit. She said to him, "And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee." She pleaded for his sake, talking about how it would look on him, the implications of his actions, saying, "You shall be like a fool, whilst pleading her own shame. She said, "Where shall I cause my shame to go?" She said, "Where shall I cause my shame to go?" I know that some of you couldn't even form the words to plead as she did, but I can imagine that those words was on the tip of your tongue, but just couldn't come out. You fought to protect you, to avoid a shame you didn't cause. Some of you gave up closing your eyes, praying to get it over with. Or you just lay countless, lifeless, counting time. One moment quenched his desire, but that moment was the beginning of your destruction. Everything you were was no more, was ripped away, as how Tamar ripped her dress and put ashes on her head as he walked away, satisfied and pristine. Even if he was locked up, the pain and shame was still yours. All right, let's pull you back for a moment. Inhale, exhale. God was with you and is with you. Remember, He turns graves into gardens. He won't erase, but He will restore. Can I suggest to you that if you yourself have never been in her position, please listen or share as you are able to be a good messenger. A smiling face covers a lot. After the incident, Tamar ripped the dress that she had on, the dress of diverse colors. In that kingdom, that dress was symbolic. And I want to personalize the symbolism of her dress for not just her, but to you also. So what did that dress represent? It was an identifier, which means it showed who she was in the kingdom. At the time, she was the king's daughter and a virgin. It represented her purity, her innocence. It spoke of her self-worth, confidence, self-esteem, and self-respect. Her status, her voice, her right, her personality, her violation, the trauma, her anger, or pain. And I'm sure, like her, that dress may represent a lot more to you. Fit the words where it represents. It is done, the act is done, and you are left with a torn dress, a victim of someone's lust and a memory, mentally, physically, and emotionally robbed, drained, and drained you. You're better able to describe how you feel more than anyone else. I understand. It's only understandable if you chose to seal away the day somewhere in your do not open file. Or maybe you just be the one who feel the need to talk to someone, to speak up, to speak out of this unjust act. Some of you may decide to die in silence, or you still struggle internally, afraid to speak for your own reasons. My advice to you is to be careful of the confidence in your life. Tamar confided in someone. She confided in her brother Absalom. The Bible says in Job 33:23-25, if there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him and saith, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. Who are the confidants, the messengers that may be in your circle? As there are different types, please use your discernment. There are people who offer a shoulder just to learn or find out something about you for their own benefit. There are those who come bearing a message that is ego-driven, when it's not about you but them, knowing your business so they can say that they did, and they were there with you. Those who listen so that they can spread your trauma as news. There are those ones who encourage you to keep silent, as Absalom did when he told her to hold her peace and not regard not this thing. There are also people who may say this to you because they don't know how to handle the situation. So I ask you to if this, I ask if this is you, if you have found this person and have expressed this to you, give them grace. Some may have their own intent for the person who did this to you, and you have those who just want you to be silent, to keep shut about your pain, your trauma. Psalms 28 says, draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief in their hearts. Betrayal is painful, but God does the best pruning. As he weeds away people from your lives that he knows does more harm than good. Sometimes we may feel alone because people are no longer around, but at times it's God's hand creating an opening for the right people. So even if you had confided already and you were betrayed, pray that God removes those who are not for you. Job also said that when these messengers come, your flesh shall be fresher than a child's. You shall return to the days of your youth. They shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto them, and he shall see his face with joy. Did any of these people you have in your life? No, do that. The ones that I just mentioned. Do you recognize any of them in your life? When God creates that space, my prayer for you is that you will be willing to look beyond the pain that others had caused you before, that you proceed with discernment. The Bible says even the devil appear as as angel of light. I ask you to please pray to God before you invite people in. These can also be people who are already there as good messengers in your life, who come to bring you that message that will uplift you, guide you, comfort you, those who will speak life into you. Please, I hope that if you're not comfortable confiding in anyone, I encourage you to find counselors or therapists. Let the Holy Spirit or your experience guide you. Remember that the people who are there for you will be your backbone. They will uplift you and lead you to the path where there is a sense of hope, direct you where you can find restoration. I pray that this will be in the way of the Lord. If you're a messenger, please do the right thing. Be positive. Be a positive, true messenger. Confident. Be your brother's keeper or a sister's keeper. Because people need these positive people in their lives. As I said, we all need a backbone. Now, as we go along, because we have a lot to cover here, this is just the beginning. I pray that you are with me, and I pray that you are good messengers, and I pray that those people who have experienced Tamar's situation, I pray you find peace and comfort in God's love. Until next time, remember, we have a lot to cover. And if you have been in this situation and you have overcome, I ask you to drop a comment in the comment section so that you may encourage others throughout this ordeal. May they not walk the way that you walk to recover. May they learn from your mistakes. May they learn that God is with you by your testimony. Until next time, be a good messenger. This is your girl T.